All right. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for joining us today. On behalf of AUVSI, I'm really pleased to welcome you to today's webinar, AUVSI and ASME Launch Collaboration for Journal of Autonomous Vehicles and Systems, or JAVS, to benefit members. So my name is Shannon Walker. I'm a Senior Program Manager on the Strategic Programs team here at AUVSI. Before we get started, we have a couple housekeeping items that we always like to go over for our attendees. As always, all of the participant lines will remain muted throughout the webinar. We are recording our program today, and a viewing link will be emailed out to all attendees along with a copy of the slide deck within the next week or so. You can now view all of our webinars on AUVSI's Learning and Engagement platform, AVL. So if you are listening to our webinar today and you need any assistance, please send a note to the webinar leader using the chat at the bottom of your screen. After our presentation today, we are definitely going to open up this session for Q&A. So attendees, you are encouraged to submit your questions at any time throughout the webinar using that Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We are going to save the questions to be answered at the end of the presentation, but feel free to submit them at any time. Please note this is a different box than the chat, so just make sure you're submitting any content questions for our speakers today using the Q&A, which can be found right next to the chat. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. So the title of this webinar may have given this away, but AUVSI has recently joined forces with ASME to support the newly established Journal of Autonomous Vehicles and Systems, or JAVS. So with this partnership, our mission to enhance our members' experience finds yet another avenue of fulfillment, bridging that gap with a leading engineering society like ASME. So ASME's objective is also clear, and that is to reach a broad audience who are engaged in autonomous vehicle research and applications. So AUVSI's position in the industry really makes this a perfect match. So today you're going to learn how our communities can work toward the ultimate goal of publishing the highest quality research in this field from both industry and academic institutions, and other ways that you, as our AUVSI members, can get involved. So we are ready to bring together the active participation and the valuable insights from AUVSI's subject matter experts alongside ASME's own community of experts as we explore this exciting collaboration. So we are honored to have our representatives from ASME and JAVS here with us today to share more. You're going to hear from Mary Grace Stefanchik, Senior Director of Publishing Development at ASME, and Dr. Vladimir Vantsevich, who, among other roles, is the JAVS Editor-in-Chief. So with that, Mary Grace, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Shannon. And good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar. As Shannon said, I'm the Senior Director for Publishing at the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, or ASME for short. And I'm happy to be here with Professor Vantsevich, who is the editor of this new journal. And we're very happy to be working with AUVSI on supporting this very important area of research and application. I'm just going to go to the next slide. There we go. And I just want to introduce Professor Vantsevich. He's at the Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Massachusetts. He's professor of the Department of Mechanical and Materials Engineering, and he has over 40 years of R&D, academic, industry, and government research project experience. So, Professor Vantsevich, do you want to talk a bit about your institute at WPI?
Thank you. Good day for everyone who is joining us today from all around the world. Welcome to the webinar. Talking about myself a little bit, I'm vehicle design engineer by training. Spent a couple of decades in research and development of a driveline system for vehicles of different applications, mostly for off-road applications, and a couple of decades I'm in autonomous vehicles, probably almost 15, 17 years in that area, as we all began to jump into autonomy. And I believe autonomy is the key word for the 21st century today. Autonomous Vehicle Mobility Institute, what we established at WPI, is involved in modeling and simulation, design and control, and hybrid testing and experimentation of manned and unmanned vehicles for terrain mobility, maneuver, energy efficiency. We link this to survivability of vehicles. Definitely AI is in place. And we're not doing only modeling and simulation, but again, we go to the vehicle conceptual design, and from vehicle system conceptual design, we go to vehicle engineering, to TRL 6. TRL, it stands for technology readiness level of 6 up to 9. But this is what we're doing in our institute. And we will be very happy to discuss today opportunities for all of you to participate in our collaborative efforts with AUVSI. Thank you.
Okay, so this slide, just a little more background about myself. As I said, I'm with the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, or ASME for short. I'm primarily responsible for the development of new and strategic publications for ASME, so primarily in the area of mechanical engineering, but also in related fields such as biotech, energy, and aerospace. So that's basically, I've been with ASME, it'll be 25 years in November. So very happy to be here to help launch this new collaboration with AUVSI.
In 2020, ASME established a new journal of autonomous vehicle and systems. Actually, Mary Grace and myself, we talked about, and we were in the very beginning, in the origins of the journal, actually, right? And why autonomous vehicles? Why autonomous vehicle systems at the time? And how we would differentiate ourselves from other journals in that area? We did all this preliminary work. We discussed with ASME members, with several divisions at ASME. We had a lot of meetings before we came up with the exact scope and aim of the journal. And we would like to establish this journal, and we're establishing it as the transformative research and engineering design of autonomous vehicles and systems. This "and" is very important. And this is one of the reasons why we're here today with you, because you represent industry. You do actual engineering design of vehicles, autonomous vehicles. ASME has a very developed relationship with academia, some with industry, but we definitely need more industry aspect and participation in the journal. Again, research and development, not only basic research, is the target for our journal. And we would like to establish research frontiers in all these areas for autonomous vehicle dynamics, for autonomous system design, and bring new technological paradigms and shift in those paradigms through our journal to our audience. Next slide, please. As I said, we formulated this aim and scope of the journal in close collaboration with ASME divisions. Our journal is under the auspices of two ASME divisions. One of them is Dynamic System and Control, and another one is Design Engineering Division. So again, those executive committees and members of the divisions, they discuss this aims and goals with us, and this is what you see on this slide now. And we would like to establish our journal as a unique platform for people around the world for technical communication, discussions, disseminating knowledge in different areas for autonomous vehicles, which are in all type of domains or mediums: ground, air and space, and water, and definitely between them. Next slide. Our audience, definitely people from engineering, mechanical, mechatronics engineers, cyber physical systems, intelligent physical systems. This is all our audience: sensors, actuators, electrical systems, electronics, and definitely vehicle design. And vehicle design is involved all this area from mechanical to mechatronics and other aspects of autonomy. Definitely, we also linked to those who are not in engineering, but they are in technical, natural, and social science. including artificial human intelligence, social sciences. It's human in the loop, on the loop, out of the loop. It's all here. Network and big data, physics, mathematics, all listed on this slide. Next slide, please. Talking about specific areas, it could be researchers, it could be faculty members and students at all academic levels, from bachelor, master to PhD levels and postdocs, research and development engineers, product design engineers, systems engineers, definitely, because we are going interdisciplinary approach, right? Then managers, engineering managers, mathematicians, computer science. This is all people who would have interest, I believe, in our job. Thank you. Next slide, please. Who is the drive force in our journal? Definitely associate editors. They do the most work related to reviewing and making decisions on papers which were submitted to the journal. Currently, we have 22 associate editors. And as I said, we definitely run for industry participation. And currently, 23%, it's about 5 people in our team, they are from industry. We also have government representations from governmental agencies and academia. A little bit how it works and how we work on those submissions. When someone applies papers, those papers, they come to me first. And I either decline a paper or I assign a paper to one of the associate editors depending on the subject matter of the paper. Why the paper can be declined? If it's out of the scope of the journal, or the quality is too low and we cannot accept it even for consideration. But we never reject papers 100%. We always keep the door open, and we suggest people to continue their research, to bring some more research which would relate the paper to the scope of the journal. So we work with the people who submit papers to the journal. When paper comes to an associate editor, he or she find 2 reviewers, and they have to get official 2 reviews on the paper, and they make decision on the paper, and they go back to me with their recommendation. Then we discuss the recommendation, and we make a common decision of what to do, to admit for revision, to admit for publication as is, or decline the paper. Next slide, please. We have people from around the world. 23% they're international, and 70% of people there from the United States. We're definitely running for more countries to participate in the journal. And again, if you who are listening us now, so you're watching this video later, so please feel free to contact me if you feel that you would like to serve as the associate editor of the journal. I would be very happy to talk with you personally, advise you on what kind of requirements we have for those people. Typically, those people, they have to have PhD degrees, be associate professor, or work in industry for at least 5 years. And based on this, qualifications, you complete a form, then will get approved, and you begin your service as the associate editor. It gives you a lot of advantages to be linked to the journal. I will be happy to answer all your possible questions in this area. Next slide. Advisory committee. So we have 3 people listed on this slide. Dr. Eskandarian, he is from academia. Dr. Gorsich, he is the chief scientist of Army Ground Vehicle Systems Center. This is like a center of excellence in ground vehicles. For all vehicles, different type of vehicles, manned and unmanned vehicles used in the U.S. Army. And another representative, Dr. Ragawan, he is the group manager at GM. So he represents industry. Those 3 people, they are our ambassadors. They help a lot with establishing the journal, to identify new strategic directions, and get more reviewers, invite authors to write specific papers on specific areas and topics. When we receive some kind of, I would say, disputable submissions, which need additional discussion, and I cannot come up with any decision, so I definitely contact them and they help me with their advice. So this is all important for us. They also serve as guest editors of special issues of our journal. Dr. David Gorsuch, he was the guest editor of a special issue on modeling and simulation military unmanned vehicles, what was published last year. So definitely we rely on them, they help us a lot, and we need more members to this committee. If you have an extensive experience in certain areas of autonomous vehicles and you want to share your experience with us, definitely contact us. We'll be happy to consider you. And if you're approved by the divisions I just mentioned before, definitely you would be a great contributor to our journal and great collaborator. Next slide. What we want to do now is just to run through several papers. They are most cited papers published in our journal. Again, as I said, we were established in 2020, so this is practically almost 3 years that we just publishing papers. One of them was from industry, as you can see here, from the title and from the MSC Software Corporation. The author actually considered special issues of safety, and safety, as we know, for autonomous vehicles is a crucial issue, crucial component. And she analyzed hazard, hazard issues in functional safety, and they refer the safety to several standards, what I listed here. And they show, the author shows how this risk, what he estimates, and he using some kind of probabilistic hazard analysis for this purpose. So how it actually helps to train autonomous drivers, and it saves time. And instead of running 100+ miles, you can just do this virtually. So it's a very interesting approach, and definitely recommend you to take a look at this paper. Next paper. So this one is from academia, and the authors, they concentrate on those 5 types of sensors, and they analyze them depending on the functionality of autonomous vehicles. And each sensor, it means it has a minimum, as we know, 2 sensing modalities, but depending on the application, they consider 3 and more modalities. And for different applications, as I said, listed here, they can be personal vehicles, public transportation, farming, or vehicle for logistics. Next one, please. Government and academic authors. They publish CREL. It stands for Cold Region Research and Engineering Laboratory. It's a very interesting paper, by the way. It's very close to the area of my research. And they try to predict conditions when a vehicle would lose mobility. And interestingly, they use not exteroceptive sensors, but instead they use proprioceptive sensors for this purpose. And a very interesting method, considering the vehicle running in snow. Definitely, I recommend you to take a look at the paper and read it and see if it's applicable to your research. Next slide, please. A paper from a very well-known university in China. Interesting that this paper relates more to engineering design, which is based on basic research. And they introduce 4 major components, which is omnidirectional platform, lifting platform, manipulator has 6 degrees of freedom, and the grasping mechanism. It's based on solving inverse kinematics. They provide very smooth motion for moving bricks and slurry to their locations. Next one, please. This research was done by the group led by Professor Dan Negret from University of Wisconsin-Madison. And they have been doing this for years, very developed off-road mobility-related research for autonomous vehicles and applications. And they developed a simulation framework based on the software product they developed in the group, based on methods for training and testing autonomous vehicles to operate in unprepared terrain conditions. And this framework includes both simulation of mechanical systems, environment, and sensors for perception of that environment. So it means some kind of framework for everything to simulate and train autonomous vehicles. Next slide. And this is, I believe, the last paper what we wanted to share with you among all these most cited papers. And it published jointly by NASA and the University of Hawaii. I collaborate with those people, and Dr. Dilmurat Azimov is one of our associate editors. It's a very interesting paper, and I listed some features over here, and would like to mention, specifically to mention, the paper was selected and announced as the winner of the competition of more than 100 papers in NASA Honors Center. So this is a great accomplishment for the authors and definitely for our journal who published those good papers. Next slide. Again, now we're coming to collaboration between the two societies. I would tell a couple of some words about this collaboration, then Mary Grace would continue with that. Why AUVSI? I already said this is the most largest probably and biggest industry-based society around the world, in the world. And definitely we want to collaborate to link more academia with industry and to provide you and provide us with joint events and participation in those joint events, both at ASME side and AUVSI side. That is why we initiated this agreement. We talked about all this over the past 2 years, and we're very happy to announce that we signed it. We developed a plan of action, and we already began executing that plan with today's webinar. Next slide, please.
Sure. Okay, so I could take it from here. Just, as we said, we really want to strengthen, the industry participation in this journal. ASME does bring primarily an academic approach to this area of research, and we are looking to connect with the top industry participants. So this is something that we feel will strengthen the journal and enable members of AUVSI to have an active role in shaping and developing this journal and having an outlet to publish quality research through this journal. So here are some of the ways that we are, I did that again, I keep hitting my clicker. Anyway, some of the ways that we're planning to work together. The benefits for the journal, obviously, we are looking for active participants at the associate editor level, as well as reviewers for submitted papers, authors, of course, as well, and we're looking to expand the reach of the journal, increase our submissions, expand the market and the distribution of the journal. And also we plan to have webinars such as this one that are more focused on the technical content to enable this research to have a wider dissemination, not just in academic audiences, but to industry as well. And we feel that AUVSI will benefit from participating for a lot of the same reasons, to have the opportunity to submit papers, to have the opportunity to serve on the editorial board, You will get access to the journal if you are a member of the editorial board, so you will have free access to the journal. There's also member discounts for folks that are interested in the journal but may not be able to participate directly. We are offering the ASME member discount to AUVSI members as part of our collaboration agreement. So for technical programming, Vladimir, did you want to say a few things about that?
So again, technical programming includes several events what actually both societies establish in their site. By collaborating with the journal, you will get direct access to the divisions at ASME, to the conferences, what those divisions they organize. And I listed several of them. Those acronyms, you can go and Google them, and you will see a very interesting conference related to ASME, this conference, IDTC, CIE. It's actually not one conference. It has 12 different conferences under one umbrella at the same place. You can see robotic conference, robotics and mechanism. You can see advanced vehicle technology conference with unmanned and manned vehicles over there, and many others. MECC, it's measurement and estimation and control conference, and some others. IMEC is a major event for ASME during the year. This is ASME Congress. So you can see us at the exponential event at your site. We're going to come and see you over there, to meet with you in person and see how we can just help you to and link you with the academia, to provide you connections to paper publications at conferences and journals, to do conference workshops, be keynote speakers over there, and so on and so forth.
Okay. All right, so for next steps, we have a lot of ways that AUVSI members can participate in the journal. As we said, please submit any nominations or invitations to your colleagues that you feel would be interested and appropriate to serve on the editorial board. We're also looking for representatives for our advisory committee. And of course, reviewers are always needed. As we said, we need multiple supporting reviews of a paper to accept it for publication. So there are many ways to be involved, and we hope that AUVSI members will be interested in participating. We feel that this is very much in your area of interest and a great opportunity to get involved in this cutting edge publication that we're developing. So of course, reach out to the editor. Vladimir, I think we'll be sharing your contact information and as well as some links to ASME's website where you can get more information about the journal. Vladimir, did you have anything to add, or?
I believe you mentioned everything. Again, please contact me directly. Whatever questions you have related to what you see on this last slide, I believe, for our presentation, or you have any other questions, you want to serve as a reviewer or associate editor or member of the advisory committee, I will be happy to answer all your questions and facilitate the process and get your paperwork for consideration and approval.
Yes, we hope we'll have the opportunity to see some of you at upcoming events, so we can meet in person and talk about these opportunities as we can.
Right. And also, please, when you submit papers to the journal, you can definitely contact me, and I can help you with the template or explain you the process, how to submit the paper. We have an assistant to the editor, and she is very happy to help you with all technical questions you might have, and I will be also answering those questions for you too. Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks everyone. Yeah, we're ready for questions if there are any.
Well, great. We have a couple of questions lined up that we'll get to in just a minute, but thank you for sharing that, because this is a really exciting partnership. And I think, like you guys have said, a great opportunity for a lot of our member base. So I encourage everybody to get in touch and get connected. So jumping into Q&A, what would you say are the benefits for AUVSI members in serving as an associate editor of the journal?
I can tell you my experience. When I become associate or editor of a journal, it definitely first drastically expands my research and area of my interest to learn more and study more. I definitely happy to be here as the editor because I see new emerging research directions in science and engineering. And I'm just keeping pulse of this. I'm listening this pulse as it goes, if I may say so. So this is a rare opportunity to get involved and be a part of this process and see how your personal research correlate with what's going on in the world. And publish your papers and review other papers and learn more what help you to find a collaborator or collaborators in ASME in different divisions and extend your industry experience to basic academic research, link both of them, and synergize all your activities collaborating with academia.
Perfect. Thank you. That is definitely a value add. Okay, so then next question, how about technical background requirements to be an associate editor? So what are those requirements for candidates from industry?
Mary Grace, you want to go this? Or
Sure. You had mentioned it before, but it definitely bears repeating, because there are requirements to serve as associate editors. As we mentioned, generally, participants have a PhD or equivalent level degree in a related field. They've published technical papers, so there is a history of publishing. Generally, we expect tenure used to be required, but since we're looking for more industry participation, obviously academic tenure does not apply. So generally, we look for an equivalent of maybe 5 to 10 years of industry experience in addition to a PhD, and as I said, some sort of publishing experience or record with published research. And that's really it. And it's just having the interest and wanting to get involved and be a part of this is really the most important aspect.
All right, perfect. Thank you. You've talked about some of the industry academia collaborations. So working for a private company, how could somebody get connected with potential collaborators in academia?
First, you need to contact me, and I'm in, yeah, right, because you have this email. You send it to me, and we'll be very happy to link you with the specific people working in that area through the ASME divisions. I know many members in divisions. I know all executive committee members. We work with them on daily basis practically. We participate in their meetings. We report to them. So, and again, I'm a member of several committees over there. I'm also establishing sessions, technical sessions in those conferences. So we know people who work in that area. We can definitely link you and see how you can just put together your efforts, apply for joint project proposals or whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah,
publish papers at our conferences, publish a joint paper in our journal, and so on.
Yeah, that's great that you brought up conferences. That's a really good point. One of the ways that folks can network and interact with other researchers, come to the conference, look at the program, look for topics that are of interest to you or that relate to your research, and come to the conference. And you don't have to present to attend. You can just come and meet folks and go to sessions. Or if you have research to present, you could submit a paper or just submit a presentation without a publication. But there's many ways to participate in a conference, whether it's an ASME conference or an AUVSI. That's where you go to meet your colleagues and make these connections for your research.
And as soon as you come to a conference, you can actually, if you like it, you can say, I want to be a member of your committee. Let's say at the Advanced Vehicle Technology Conference, we have Vehicle Design Committee. And you say, I want to be a member of your committee. and you go to the committee meetings, you meet with the people, you discuss technical questions, and you become a part of the team.
I love it. That's perfect. Okay, it looks like we have one more question, unless attendees, you want to submit anything before we wrap up for the day. So we've heard a lot about the journal and everything. What would you guys say is the best place to go in order to get more information about the journal?
Well, you could start with the editor. Because Vladimir has a lot of experience with not just with the journals program, but with the ASME, with the conferences. And so I'm sure he would love to hear from you if you want to do some. Yeah, if you wanted to do some research on your own, there's the ASME website. There's the ASME digital collection where the journal is hosted. There's some links that we can share. I think that may have been shared in the chat. That will provide more information.
And I will be happy to respond to individual emails. Just send me an email to this address, what is listed on the screen, and I will be happy. I'm responsive. So,
what I'm hearing is we just should email you, Vladimir, for any question, any concern, anything, right?
Related to the journal, of course.
That's a good qualifier. All right, well, perfect. That is the end of our questions that we had gotten submitted. So let me give each of you just a second if you have any closing thoughts or comments before we wrap up for the day.
I just would like to thank everyone who attended today's webinar. Very happy to talk to you virtually. Hope to meet you in person at our conferences, and I look forward to our collaboration with AUVSI.
Yeah, same here. Just thank you for everyone who joined, and we look forward to your participation.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of AUVSI, thank you, Mary Grace and Vladimir, for this excellent presentation. So informative, so important, and such a treat for our member base. So we are very excited for this partnership. And you guys, as attendees, you'll actually see a lot more of this throughout 2024. So I encourage you to get in touch, get engaged, and see how you can get involved. So attendees, you will receive a link to access the webinar recording within the next week or so. All of our webinar recordings are available on AUVSI's learning and engagement platform, AVL. So when you visit AVL to view the recording, please take some time to look around. The platform is more than just webinars. There's a ton of opportunities, including courses, archived content from exponential or other events, as well as white papers that have been released in other research. So there's just a ton to see on there. So I encourage you to get in and look around. If you have any additional questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to our team at education@auvsi.org. And lastly, today's program is copyrighted by AUVSI with all rights reserved. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Mary Grace and Vladimir, for the presentation today. And we hope you guys all have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.